ora, welcome to Discovery Time. I'm Holly, this is Keelie, and today we're going to be showing you how to create a jumping game using Scratch. This is Scratch. You can create a free account using an email address and a password. If you're younger, you'll want your parents to help you sign up. So in order to create a game, first we need to go up to the top and click on Create. Excellent, so this is where we are going to be creating our game. As you can see, it has given you a blank space and a default sprite. Now we can either use this sprite or we can pick a new one, and I think we might want to pick a new one. Yeah. Cool, so if you have a look down the bottom there, you've got the picture of the sprite and a little rubbish bin next to it. Let's click on the bin, that'll get rid of him. And then there's this little kitty cat with a plus sign on it. That's choose a new sprite. As you can see, you've got a whole bunch of categories you can choose from. You've got people, animals, dance, music, sports. So we're wanting to choose either a character or a person. So I'll let you click through all of these and have a look and pick one you really like. It can be absolutely any of them.
Let's go llama.
Llama? Awesome. Cool, so we have chosen a llama. So as you can see, our llama is standing in front of a very plain white background, and I think we can do a prettier one. So if you have a look in the corner here, you should see backdrops. You can click on that and choose, and you've got heaps of options there. If you look up top, you can actually choose between like outdoor and indoor, space, underwater, whichever one you want. Canyon?
Yes.
Nice. Cool, so we've got our llama in a canyon. So now that we've created our sprites, we are going to move them around in the position that we want them to. So we basically want him to be not completely touching the bottom of the screen, but sort of up a bit because we need to give him some room to jump around. Awesome, now that we've got him in position, we are going to need to add something for him to jump over. So if you want to go back to sprites and instead of choosing a character, this time you're going to choose an object. Cool. All right, now that we have the snake, as you can see, he's facing backwards. So if you click on our snake, and you can actually see here in these options where it says direction, if you go -90 degrees. There we go. All right, so we just did the mirror option and then did -90. Perfect.
That looks better.
Does look better. Do you want him to be that size or do you want him slightly smaller?
No, smaller.
Okay, so in size, if you go a number.
That's better.
Cool. I think that's pretty good. Awesome. Now that we have our sprites and our background, we are going to start coding. We are going to create a line of code that's going to let the snake move from one side of the screen to the other so that our llama has something to jump over. So if we make sure that our snake is selected, we are going to click and drag him as far to the side as possible because he's going to need a point to start from. You can also probably get him a little bit off screen as well.
A little bit? Or like a lot?
Probably as much as you can. Yeah.
No, he doesn't want to.
Cool, that's fine. We'll just let him.
He'll go a little bit.
Cool. So
He doesn't want to go a lot.
We'll let him do what he wants. And then if we go to events and find when flag clicked and drag that onto the workspace, we're then going to go to control and find forever. And we're going to drag that under the when flag clicked. So we are then going to go to motion. And we are going to find go to X and Y. Yep. And those numbers should be kind of automatically selected based off of where you've actually positioned Mr. Snake or Mrs. Snake or whatever. So now you're going to click on your object and drag it to the other side of the screen, trying to get it as much off the screen as possible. I think it just matters where you've put the cursor. So if you click on that, let go, and then maybe click on the tail.
Yeah, that will work better.
Cool, perfect. So now that we've got him sort of where he's going to finish off, we are going to find, we're still in motion, we're going to need to find glide space seconds to XY, and they should have numbers filled in as well. Yeah, perfect. And if you add that under the other block in the forever bracket. Cool, now that we've finished that, we just need to make sure that these two numbers along the Y match up. Okay. So if you want to change the second one to -119. Perfect. And if we go to control and find wait however many seconds, so, and drag that under those two blocks that you just did. And then in order to randomize the number of seconds that you need to wait, go to operators and find pick random 1 to 10 and put it in where it says number 1, and we are going to change the 1 to 0.5 and the 10 to 5. Cool, so we will just double check that we have everything right. And if you want to change the glide to 1.2, because 1 second is just a little bit too much and 1.5 seconds is just a little bit too slow. If you then want to click on your green flag up the top, we can see what the snake does.
Oh, there he goes.
Perfect.
Nice.
Exactly what we want. And as you can see, the snake is randomly is going at random times. That just gives you a little bit more fun, because it's not so much fun to just smash the jump button at the same time. Cool. Now that we have something for our character to jump over, we are going to make a jumping llama. So if we go up to the top and just click stop, and now we are going to click on the llama, because we are going to create a line of code for the llama. If you go to events and click when space key pressed, and in controls, find and drag 2 repeats and add that to the line. Yep, so if you drag 2 of those, one onto underneath each other. Cool, and we are going to, in motion, find change Y by, and then should have a number, and then put 1 in each of those repeat boxes. Now your llama's quite tall, so we'll just do a bit of a test. So if you go the second one, change that 10 to -10, and then if we click on, and then if you go spacebar, so you see that llama's jumping. If you want him to jump a little bit higher, you can do that by changing the numbers, so you can either make them jump higher or lower. Cool. And so you've created a jumping game. So you can either leave it at this if you're happy with a basic jumping game, or if you wanted to add a points and lives counter, you could also do that.
Okay.
So you want to try to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
Why not?
All right, so we're going to be doing all of this in llama, so sounds funny. So if we just click stop, otherwise Mr. Snake's going to keep going forever. we are going to be adding in some more code. So in variables, click create a variable. Sorry, make a variable. And if you make one that says points, and go OK. And we're then going to create another one that's called lives. And then go OK. You should see we've got two counters that have appeared at the top there. And so we are going to essentially be coding these counters. So we are going to go to events and when flag clicked and drag that just onto a space. And then go variables, set lives to 0 and add that on. And we're going to change lives to points. So basically what that's going to do is every time you start the game, it's going to reset the counter. And now we are going to make it so that every time your llama jumps, you get a point. So in events, if you click on when space key pressed and drag that into its own space. And then in variables, click and drag change lives. And we're going to change lives to points. And we're going to leave it at 1, unless you want to go up in increments of 10 or 2, or you get to choose the number.
1 is okay.
But I think 1's okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then in events, click and drag when flag clicked. Just into its own space. In variables, click and drag set lives to 0. And we are going to set the lives to, shall we do 3? You get 3 lives?
Yeah, that's a good number. Can't make it too easy.
Cool. So, if we were to play the game just like this, the points number would go up, but because we've got no if command for the lives points, that number wouldn't change at all.
Okay.
So we are going to do a bit of a complicated block of code to make the lives essentially go down if Mr. Llama steps on the snake.
Okay.
We are going to go... we're going to be building onto the if clicked. Yeah.
Can I move that up?
Yeah, you can move that up.
A bit more space.
Okay, so we are going to go into control and find a forever block. And the rest of what we're going to be doing is going to be inserted into forever. So in control, we are going to be finding a if bracket then command. Yep. And that's going to be clicked into control. And we are then, no, yep, that's all. And we are then going into variables and go change lives by. And instead of going change lives by 1, we are going to go change lives by -1. So that's going to be counting down. Now, in order to actually count when the llama is stepping on the snake, we are going to first drag Mr. Snake out onto the screen so we can look at him. You may need to click onto the snake first. And then back onto the llama. And we are then going to go into sensing. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the touching color question mark button. I'm going to add it into the if then command. And if you click on the color, you will actually see a dropper. And using that, you can actually hover it over the snake. So you can see it's selected the snake's color.
Yeah.
And then if you click just outside of it to get rid of that, you should have a full line of code that'll let the game know that if that llama touches that color of the snake, it loses a life. So if you wanted to click on the green flag and try play the game, I don't know how you've managed to get 9. Ooh,
Oh, I've done very well already.
you have, but you've gone negative line.
We might need to look at that. -8 lines.
Maybe we need to make Mr. Llama jump a bit higher.
Yeah, it's quite hard, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
stop.
Alright, so if we go change by maybe 15, and then also change by -15.
I'm not very good at this.
I think snake might be a bit big, so if we go snake and then change him to maybe 40.
Hold up, Sneaky, hold up. Would that work?
Yep.
Or is it still catching it at the end?
A little
I think
bit.
it's still catching it there, is it?
We can try and move Llama forward a little bit.
Still lost then, didn't it?
I don't think so. Yeah,
-8. Yeah.
a little bit.
Where's it
Let's start
catching?
again. Oh, yeah. So what it's doing is, because the snake has quite a lot of that color, it's actually marking it as hitting in multiple places. So maybe what we could do, and this is all troubleshooting that you guys can do when you play your game, just to figure out how it works. We can maybe go in and do his eye color. That way there's only one point that you can touch the snake on.
Okay.
And we'll see if that makes a difference.
That's better.
Cool. We have created a Jumping Llama game. So you guys can leave it at this, or you can add real cool things like sound effects, or maybe some other sprites. You can even do something like, if you get to 0 lives, create an end screen. Really, it's entirely up to you, and be as creative as possible, and let us know how you do. Thanks for watching. Bye.